rare viral zoonosis known as monkeypox, transmitted to humans from animals, has spread from 2 states recorded just last week to 7 states. The disease is said to have spread to Cross River, Rivers, Ekiti, Akwa Ibom, Lagos and Bayelsa. While the states are battling to curtail the spread, others are looking out for ways of barring it. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has filed a suit before the High Court in Abuja to stop the Senate from investigating allegations of corruption against him. He was seeking an order restraining the Senate and Senate President Bukola Saraki from going ahead with their plan to investigate allegations of malpractices against him. The accusation is coming from the lawmaker representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District, Isa Misau. Meanwhile, the force headquarters had accused Mr. Misau of leaving the force with forged retirement papers. And also, President Muhammadu Buhari has met with Southeast leaders led by the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, at the State House, Abuja. Data feeds are coming through all in one place simultaneously. You can see them behind me. You can be a part of the show. Tweet at me at KAY Alayande using the hashtag State of the Nation to join the conversation. It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome again. I'm Kayode Alayande, and this is State of the Nation. Right behind me, you have data feeds coming through all in one place simultaneously on all of our social media platforms. We invite you to be a part of the show. Use the hashtag State of the Nation and tweet also at me at KAY Alayande. Your thoughts are much appreciated on the subjects that we are dealing with tonight. So here we go. On Tuesday, the 10th of October, lawmakers at the upper legislative arm read a letter from Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari seeking approval for $5.5 billion of foreign borrowing. The government says it wants to spend money on infrastructure projects such as the $5.8 billion Mambila hydropower dam, a second runway for the capital, Abuja's airport and railway, as well as road construction. This move in the last few days has been a subject of intense debate amongst Nigerians, especially financial experts. So everyone's trying to make sense of the implication of this move, and so are we right here on the show State of the Nation. Joining me to discuss this are 2 gentlemen, Mr. Charles Iyori, an economist. He joins me via Skype from England. And also join us from our Abuja studio is a public analyst, Mr. Olabode Showunmi. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of the show State of the Nation. Now, let me start with you, Mr. Showunmi, joining us from our Abuja studio. We are seeking another layer of external borrowing, $5.5 billion US. You're in a... what does this mean? What's the implication? Right now, we're just coming out of recession.
I think the first thing we need to realize is why do governments even borrow in the first place? Government borrows because they are not able to meet their budget. In other words, there's a deficit. Now, there are 2 ways to that. If they are not able to meet their deficit, it's either they borrow or they reduce their expenditure. Now, the implications of reducing expenditure is that there will be reduced standard of living, the economy may not be robust, and the related side of things. So to that extent, there should be, borrowing is not totally illegal and should not be seen as illegal to the benefit of society. But having said that, there are many implications aside the basic economics to the borrowing part. I need to put a caveat here that I'm not a full-scale economist, but the fact remains that the nations that do borrow us these monies we are going to be subjected to them. So there's a socio-political aspect to the funding. But if the funding that is made available is such that it is able to meet needs and it is able to repay itself, then it becomes logical. Now, where the issues are is that precisely being done. And I'll give a simple example. If you build a road and you put toll gates with enabling legislation there, such that the tolls from the gates pays for the road over 10 to 15 years, then there's a lot of logic to borrowing. But if there is capital expenditure and the process for the expenditure is such that it does not cater for the repayment of the loans, then somebody is going to suffer, an aspect of the economy will suffer. And that is where the devil comes into the details, and that is where there is genuine concern among those who should know within the economy.
Yes, that genuine concern that you just mentioned now is what Nigerians have had to grapple with administration after administration, because it appears that there is always a professional reason for us to borrow. And we have gone through this tunnel before. By the end of the President Obasanjo's administration, we cleared most of our debts, if not all. It appears that this vicious cycle is coming back around.
You know, the fact remains that we have a fragile economy. Typically for most nations, irrespective of whatever they produce, irrespective of whatever minerals they have, significant aspects of government funding comes from taxes. Our tax system is significantly underdeveloped. And as such, because government revenue does not come from taxes as it should be, you now have the challenges of the government depending on a particular aspect of its foreign exchange earnings to fund the budget. So that aspect is not going to be overcome overnight. But at the same time, the economy is not going to go into catamombs while we are waiting for certain aspects of the economy to develop. So it's a chicken and egg situation. It's a catch-22 situation. The economists there need to think outside the box, to do whatever they can do to ensure that the economy comes alive. And that's where ingenuity comes in.